Hey everyone.
Guys,
Sorry, later
my
than
fault.
usual. I just found out some just whatever.
Distressing,
Yeah, it's
aggravating.
what else is new. So let me say hi to everybody and then we'll get going. Hi Tony Ann, Ruth Ann, Little Shoe. You're new. Hi Little Shoe. Ellie, Perfectly Imperfect, Susie B, Jewel, Addie. Hi
Hey,
my
Addie.
Mayo Queen.
I love my ass.
Linda, Susie B.
Jewel,
You're scrolling fast, John.
Wendy H. Yeah, I'm gonna miss a lot of people, but I'm already super late. So Mel B, hi. Videos, Benji, Rach,
Christina,
J Freak, Paula, Joanne, Sly,
Wendy,
I'm going really fast. Rody Gal, Heaven, Julie Marie, Flower Child, MW. Okay, and if I miss you, I'll see you.
videos, fun.
Tracy, hi. Sorry, I just. Oh my god, these people are never gonna stop. But that's not what we're here for. But I was.
So, are we going to start with tea first, or are we going to talk about the new? Okay, and let me just say, when John sent me the message and he was like, "Hey, I'm going live tonight. You want to, do you want to go come up?" And I was like, well, "What are we going to talk about?" He goes, "The new show." And last night he was talking about McMillian, so I'm like, "I haven't watched it yet." And then he was like, "No one has watched it yet, Karen. No one has watched it yet, Wicked." And I was like, "Oh, you're not talking about McMillions." So I
Well, yeah, it's not McMillions. It's 90 Day.
Hello, Joseph. It's
Trying to get back.
the last resort.
Trying to get back. Yeah, trying to get back in the swing of things with the tea and everything. So they posted the trailer, and I spoke about this kind of quickly last night, and I kind of just like glossed over it really fast, and I felt it needed more content, more of a discussion on it. And we didn't have I talked about it super late, and there were barely anybody in the chat, so I'm just gonna redo it.
So
Sorry.
I mean, they filmed this a minute ago, didn't they?
Yeah, it was actually filmed late December. So great for TLC to air another show 9 months later after they filmed it. And it was only like they were only there for I think 2 weeks, maybe at max. I want to say 10 days in my head. And I was the one that broke the story like back, last year when they were filming, but everyone wants to forget that. But that's okay. So they
When I
posted.
think it starts in August, like 14th, I think.
Right, like a clean 9 months after it was filmed. I mean, we know in the scope of 90 Day Fiance that 9 months, is like 90 years. With how things change and couples break up and who's really with who and who's there for like who's being honest and whatnot. So yeah, so I broke that back in December, and they posted the trailer, like but they didn't say any couples. I'm like, well, here are the couples. So the couples are Molly and Kelly, Jovi and Yara, Ed and Liz, Michael and Angela, and Kalani and Asuelu. So those are the 5 couples. You know, um, Colt and Vanessa were supposed to be on originally, but then when Colt broke his leg, I think Molly was the fill-in on that one. And then also I posted about it in my IG, and even Pow had said, I'm going to lower my phone that way I don't get in trouble. Pala Hal and Russ. Hala said I was supposed to be on the season, but they weren't paying anything. Well, what else is new? It's 90 Day Fiance and Sharp. Like we all know, you don't go on this show for the big paychecks that they're giving the cast. It's just you know, you go on the show and then you get like, you know, endorsements, and you know, you could sell your thank you.
Oh,
Like,
it should have been apostrophe.
I can't even do it right now. You know, you do your tea and your Fat Fib Fun partners and like whatever else you get from being on the show. Back in the day, you know, there was a lot more going for you. Now that everyone's so tired of the show, really, that like, you know, new cast members barely have any followers now.
Right.
You know,
So who out of everyone except for Stephanie, who has like the best endorsements? Because I don't think Stephanie endorsed anything. She just
fart jar Stephanie.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, she was already like well off. You know, Stephanie was really popular on OnlyFans way before she was ever on the show. You know, she was already making good money off that. But then like Larissa got fired for showing her breasts on the Camp Soda, but they hired Stephanie, who does, you know, pretty much everything on OnlyFans, which doesn't make sense to me. Like, you know, it's the selective outrage, much like people in the comments or people who don't like me or people who don't like cast members, or Sharp's selective outrage, because, you know, Larissa should never have been fired for showing, you know, her breasts on that Cam Soda thing, when meanwhile you hired Stephanie, who was spread eagle on OnlyFans. And, you know,
I mean, in the grand scheme of things, boobs aren't much.
I remember, like, you know, I didn't even know Stephanie was into that. And, you know, Stephanie was also like, you know, doing paid acting jobs, which is, you know, is not uncommonplace now on the show. She shoot, I lost my train of thought. I'm sorry, Stephanie. Uncommonplace. I don't know. I
gotta grab my charger.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. Keep talking.
Big strike on that one. Well, yeah, Libby's sister is, you know, everyone's on OnlyFans. It's just not, it's like half the cast. They're all on, you know, I guess because, like, you know, TLC doesn't pay. We all know that. Sorry.
No, but it's like, you know, in the whole grand scheme of things, I mean, boobs, come on.
Right. And Stephanie was, you know, oh, that's what I was going to say. So I didn't know that Stephanie was actually on OnlyFans, and somebody had posted, I guess, one of her videos on Reddit, and I DM'd her because I'm like, hey, girl, just letting you know, I just saw your beeve. I just saw you playing with your beeve on Reddit. And so I think that's how I worded it exactly. And, you know, you might want to do something about that. And she's like, oh, well, it's part of the biz. I'll just, you know, do a copyright strike on it. And I'm like, oh, like it was like, so like, you know, oh, what else, you know, it didn't even like phase her type of thing. So,
Hi, Criddle. Seraphim.
Hey, Criddle. So there's that. That was my point.
I mean, it's just, I mean, I don't have words for that. It's just silly.
So I'm not, so it's just weird to me that, like, you know, the standards that the show, wants some people to adhere to, and the other, you know, and then the other people, they look the other way, you know, and
right. I mean, look at the Duggars.
Let's not. Oh, please, girl. I don't have the strength for that.
No, I'm just saying, but, you know, I think having a child predator on your channel is a little bit more than having boobs. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So let's get into the new cast of, because I don't even want to get, I don't have the strength for the Duggars. I'm sorry.
Who's Little Shoe?
Someone who's new.
Okay.
And yeah. So let's talk about the new cast of this show that was taped again back in December
14
for, I
years
want
ago.
to say, 2 weeks.
It's coming on in, I thought they said August like 14th.
So let's go over the cast. So, I know that Molly is getting a lot of heat. She's been getting a lot of heat, let's just face it. And I kind of want to break into it. 2 weeks. They were there for 2 weeks, and I just hate what's going on with Molly. And I know I'm the only blogger who's taking her side. But sorry.
I don't think I know enough about the situation to take sides.
Well, that's what normal people should do. But and I've been vocal about this here and there, and I've also not been going live often about the show, and I'm trying to get back to where I was and posting and blogging. I just got tired of all the hate from you post anything on Instagram or Twitter, whatever social media, and you just have people that want to pick apart everything. And you could say happy Monday. Why should you be happy? It's a sin to be like alive on Monday. And it just, these people just want to fight for there's no pleasing anyone anymore. As generic and as vague or whatever you can be, you just, this world that we live in is just so, people just want to fight all the time.
True.
And I've been holding myself back because, I'm like, well, I don't want to say this and piss this person off, or say that or piss this person off.
You're not allowed to have your own opinion.
No matter what you say, you're just going to piss people off. So I'm just going to go back to the way I used to be, where I just say what's on my mind. And, that's what got me to where I am now. I don't know if I should be bragging about that or not, because where I am now is pretty awful. But, it is what it is. So, with Molly, so Molly and Kelly are one of the couples. And I know that Molly she's been getting a lot of heat from Cynthia, from Kelly. And I want to kind of break this down for a bit. Because, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I'm in a little bit of pain at the moment. So, let's break this down. Okay. As we all know, Molly, there was a fallout between Cynthia and Molly. And then there was a fallout between Kelly and Molly. And, Cynthia, for the last, my loyalties to Molly, I'm not going to lie. I have nothing, I'm not trying to be mean to Cynthia. I had never have been. But I'm just going to say what I know. And that's it.
Cynthia was never a cast member.
Well, she's a sidekick.
Right. So she never had her life exposed out there.
A perfect example of Cynthia to me is Angela with JoJo Disney. That woman. That's how I see. You remember, Angela, 2 seasons back, it was JoJo Disney. She was filming with her. She was her friend.
JoJo Siwa?
No, JoJo Disney. It was not JoJo Siwa. She's the teeny bopper.
Okay, yeah.
But you have friends, and it's more complex than that, because Cynthia and Molly did have the business together, Delivery Ray, and they were business partners. So it's much more complex than Angela and JoJo Disney. But at the same time, Molly was on the show not representing her business it was her trying to find love. So that's how I can make that comparison right there.
Yeah.
Because Cynthia was, Molly and Cynthia weren't on to, they weren't housewives, right? They weren't promoting skinny girl, bras. or, you know, big girl bras or whatever. It was, you know, Cynthia was a friend on the show, and that's it.
Thank you, Addie. Addie gifted 5 memberships. Perfectly Imperfect. And Blonde Boca Vegan, Sandra, Shayna. There's your 5. Thanks so much, Addie.
Thank you, Addie.
We don't. That's the only thing I don't like about the StreamYard is you can't see that.
I know,
you see the super chats.
I should probably open up, but if I'm sorry, all right, I'm not trying to lose my train of thought because again, this live we were so late because I just found out something that was just horrendous. What now? Please tell me what now. What?
Oh, he loves you.
Okay. So you have Cynthia. All right, so let's break this down because I know that Molly is getting a lot of heat right now because, you know, well, they're saying, you know, well, why would you be with Kelly on this new show if things were so terrible? So let me post this. So, just on Monday, on July 3rd, Kelly was issued, a warrant was issued for his arrest. This was just Monday for 4 charges: simple battery, terroristic threats, and harassing communications.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And that was just issued on Monday. Going back to when, you know, we heard, you know, this, I don't want to say the story, what happened at the shop when, you know, Kelly had got handsy with Olivia, her daughter.
Do we know what that was over? Or we can't discuss it?
I'm trying to think how to answer that the right way.
I mean, if we can't discuss it, that's fine. I don't want you to burn any bridges.
It's very delicate. So that all happened, and I want to say prior to this happening, the word on the curb was that Cynthia was mad that she got booted from Pillow Talk because, you know, Molly hasn't been on the show in a bit. You know, she was on 90 Day, then she was on Happily with, I guess, Luis, and then she did like the 1 season of The Single Life where she met Kelly. And as far as I know, those are the 3 seasons that Molly was on. And, you know, Molly and Cynthia had done Pillow Talk for quite a while, but Cynthia was, you know, again, the sidekick. So when, after The Single Life had aired, and Kelly and Molly were together, Cynthia was upset that she got kicked to the curb because now it was Molly and Kelly instead of Molly and Luis.
I will say that I watched Pillow Talk because I love it that it's a condensed version. It's sometimes better than the show. And I did feel like Molly and Cynthia had more of a camaraderie / they were better at the show than her and Kelly. I didn't like her and Kelly together on the show.
Well, I've been very vocal about how I can't stand Pillow Talk. I mean, I watched it like the first few episodes of like the first season, like a few years back. My issue with Pillow Talk has always been that, you know, cast members know what's going on. So like their reactions to me are all fake and phony, you know, because they're all on IG. They know who's with who. They know who's fighting with each other. But I know, you know, and at that point they're being actors. You know, their reactions are what an actor would say or do. you know. So for me, pillow talk is just, and again, let me be clear about something. And I know I know a lot of cast members. Um, when you see their reactions on pillow talk, it's like they don't watch the show at all. To like, they don't watch the 2 hours. Production gives them snippets, like scenes of like different scenes with different people across a bunch of different episodes, and they're giving them their reaction. So it's not cohesive. It's just like say like David and Annie, right? Like they'll watch a scene about, I don't know, Debbie and Oshama. And then like they'll watch like a 10-minute clip of that, and then they'll tape their reaction, and then 10 minutes after that they'll get a scene from Jenna Rishi, but it's a different episode, and then they'll get a scene from, I don't know, something like In Love in Paradise or something, and like it's not cohesive at all. They're not watching the show like we're watching it. They're watching bits and pieces of the show that so that's why, another reason why I can't stand pillow talk. But like I know too much, but that's how pillow talk works, and that's why I can't get behind that and the fact that like cast members already know what's really going on. So for me, with pillow talk, everything is super manufactured, and I just can't watch it. When you're watching pillow talk, it looks like that they show the show in order, and you see like Annie and David, or Annie, or Annie and Robert, or Molly and Cynthia, whoever else is on the show, but they're just watching clips, not cohesive, not glued together, nothing at all. So that's why I can't stand pillow talk. So Cynthia got the boot from the show because they wanted pillow talk to be now, because they would rather have a couple doing the show, like Tim and Veronica. Oh God, like they're the worst. But I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I have a lot of feelings about a lot of things. But what was I going to say?
You're such a shy guy.
About Cynthia getting the boot.
She got the boot, and then she was pissed. And this all happened at like the same time. So Cynthia gets the boot, and like let's talk about like stuff for a minute with Cynthia and Molly. Since I want to say, I don't know, January, Cynthia has been going hard on Molly, and I know
passive aggressive.
I know that everybody's in Cynthia's corner. I don't understand why. And again, I have nothing against Cynthia. I don't. I'm just somebody who's been watching the show since day one and blogging about it, and I kind of can see certain things, and I have connections here and there. So she got the boot, and then she started very publicly shaming Molly, how she is no longer a partner in Livray, how her and Molly have cut ties. Then the worst thing somebody could do in my eyes is post passive aggressive, like inspirational quotes. God, that is like I cannot stand that. And Cynthia has been doing her, because, and again, this is because she was kicked off pillow talk. So Cynthia was the sidekick. I mean, but she had this booming business with Molly where they were making good money. But I guess she couldn't take the fact, and I could be wrong here, but I'm right. She couldn't take the fact that she was kicked off, and then she had to start attacking Molly. And like as I seen it since January, Cynthia has been going hard on Molly. Yeah. And I haven't seen Molly say one word about her. I mean, am I wrong?
I don't follow her on Instagram. I do follow Cynthia. I'd have to look to see if I follow Molly. But yeah, Molly just, to me, oh, thank you. To me, it seems like Molly just lets a lot go. It takes her a while to get to that breaking point. And when she's done, she's like, Done. I'm out.
And again, let me. I'm sorry, I'm going to bring this back up. You can shut your camera off if you want because you're not behind it.
Okay.
So this, and now Kelly is saying, on June 7th, 2023, a motion was filed and granted for the hearing to be adjourned to July 3rd, 2023. Adjourn means it's a postponement if you don't know legalese. Kelly, who has now moved out of Georgia, was reassured at the first hearing by the judge and his attorney that his attendance at the second one was unnecessary. I don't know who told him that. I mean, I was just in court 10 days ago, and I had to be there, even though I had an attorney, like you always show.
Yeah, she hasn't posted any inspirational. She does a lot for her plexus. Yeah.
So this goes on to read that Kelly had faith that his attorney would properly represent him. Kelly reveals to Word on the Street he is dismayed, disgusted, and disappointed by the representation he received. The information he received about the hearing yesterday was disturbing, and Kelly reached out to Word on the Street to explain what occurred. Listen, this is not how the legal system works. I mean, it's just not. Like, I was just represented in court, for whatever, I'm not going to go there, but you know what I'm talking about. And I had to spend a lot of money on an attorney, and what I did, you show up, and my thing was via Zoom. I don't know if it was in person at Molly's hearing or whatever, but even though it's via Zoom, you still have to show. I mean, your attorney does all the talking for you. That's the beauty of having an attorney, because that's their job to speak for you and whatever.
I'll be back in 30 seconds.
But you have to show, and any cop, especially any New York City cop,
you think you would have known that?
Would know, because they have to appear in court all the time, whether they gave somebody a ticket or they arrested somebody. I have a first cousin / godfather who is a high-ranking New York City Police Department person. I'm not going to say who, but this is not. This is not new to someone who's been working in the NYPD for a whole lot of years. That you have to go to court. You always have to appear, whether you have an attorney or not. And, you should have no reason not to appear when you have an attorney, because you know that your attorney is going to do all the work for you. That's why you hire an attorney. That's why I did. Because, that's how that works. So for him, a New York City Police Department officer, to say, I had no idea, I shouldn't have to showed up in court, I hired some incompetent attorney. Flabbergasted. And again, I'm trying, I'm sick of just being quiet about things that I know. I know a few things here and there, especially about I have a law background. I was a court reporter. I was a paralegal for, I don't know, 15 years. And I know how this stuff works. And I have family in the police. I know how that works there. And anybody with a modicum of common sense would know that you still have to show up when you're in court, whether you have representation or not. That's how that works. So him saying he had no idea and blah, 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 and that Kelly had faith that his attorney would probably, his attorney can go after him on that now, because that's defamation. And the last person I would be screwing with was an attorney that you hired, and you didn't fill your end of the bargain by just showing up. Like, what were you doing that you just couldn't show up for this court hearing? Why did you not show up?
I mean, in particular for domestic violence.
And clearly the judge agreed and rendered an arrest warrant for him.
I mean, it's not like you blew through a traffic light.
With 4 offenses. 4 offenses. Not just like, 1, but 4. And, battery, simple battery, terroristic threats, and harassing communications because what's been going on online. It's insane. Why wouldn't you show up? I mean, if you are this person that is so innocent, you're so innocent.
Maybe like other people, they thought it was a slam dunk.
If I knew my case was a slam dunk in court, and you don't think I wanted to be there to witness it? Whether you think it's a slam dunk or not, you go there to watch what happens. Like, this is your livelihood at stake.
Oh, wow.
I mean, these are your liberties that might be taken away from you. Why would you not show up? If you thought there's no way I'm losing, then you should be there eating popcorn, watching the whole time.
Kind of what you did.
Yeah, well, ours is via Zoom. I don't know. I don't know if this case, but mine was in Miami-Dade, so everything in Miami-Dade County in Florida is via Zoom. I don't know in Georgia if it was, if they were all there in person or not. And if he was not in Georgia at that time, he could have appeared via Zoom, and then he could have just been there via Zoom. He could have just been there via Zoom and not said anything. Like, he should not have said anything because he had representation.
That's a good question. I wonder if his police pension will be affected. I would say no, because his pension wouldn't necessarily be decided. I mean, it's based on his years of service. It's not based upon anything else.
I've seen like a bunch of, and like, I'm very pro police. I have a lot of police in my family, but like, there are bad police. We all know that.
Oh, yeah.
That take advantage. Sorry. There are bad police. We all know that, right? We've seen horror stories about police who take advantage of the shield and want to they think that they're untouchable and this, that, and the other. So yeah, I'm not gonna make it seem like there aren't bad cops out there. We've all seen it on the news, whatever. But like, this to me is like, if he's so innocent of,
the charges, why not show up?
Olivia and what he's been saying online, then the judge would not have issued a warrant, especially when this man had representation. And as far as I know, how this case went down, I believe it was Molly, and I'm not 100 on this, but I believe it was Molly and Olivia who were speaking on their own in front of the judge versus his attorney. And that's already intimidating as it is, and this is criminal court, but I guess Molly and Olivia had to show up. I was thinking they would have had like a DA prosecute this because it's criminal, but no. Yeah. Molly and Cynthia, from what I'm seeing, had to appear in front of a magistrate and prove their case against somebody who actually had an attorney. And when, the other side has an attorney and you don't, you're going to lose 9 times out of 10. And what happened? Molly and Olivia shared their story, presented their evidence, presented their truth against an attorney. And what happened? the judge saw through it, just like the judge saw through the BS that happened on my case, and saw who was in the right and who was in the wrong. And just because you're a cop does not mean that like you're infallible
True.
to the law. And let's not forget that, like, there are witnesses, I know people don't want to believe it because people put so much stock into hating Molly because of what Cynthia has been pulling. And I'm not done yet because and again, my loyalty is to Molly, and I can't stress this enough, but I also really don't have anything bad to say about Cynthia from me and Cynthia's relationship,
Right.
but I have to point things out. And Cynthia could hate me all she wants right now. That's fine. Get on the list. I mean, there's plenty of people. So,
well, I mean, she wasn't a cast member.
But no, she was a sidekick like JoJo Disney.
Right.
And let's not forget that Molly also had shop employees that were also witnesses. And and again, it's so hard to go into court and without representation. It's just for somebody without representation to beat an attorney.
Yeah.
I mean, like 1 out of 10 times. But I guess, Kelly not showing up was like, probably was like the worst thing he could have done on his half, because all he had to do was show up, and then like he might have won, but the judge was pissed that he wasn't there, and it is what it is. And I'm kind of happy that he didn't, because only somebody guilty would not have shown up, because if again, I can't stress this enough, and I know that I'm kind of repeating myself a little bit, but if you have the attorney and you don't have to say anything. In my 2-hour court trial, I said 2 sentences at the end when my attorney called me up at the end. 2 sentences, and it was over. But like, only somebody with something to hide when you have an attorney would not show up. And that's it. So, moving forward, there are a lot of things that Cynthia's been doing online to get people to hate Molly. And I've been blogging about this show since day one. I'm the OG of the 90 Day Fiancé bloggers. I was first. And y'all know that. My reputation may be muddied. Well, it is muddied, not maybe. Whatever you all want to think about me at this time. But y'all know that I've been covering this show since day one. Okay.
You have unparalleled access.
I do. I have unparalleled access to.
And the blue check mark.
Which I earned, my blue check mark, which I earned. Thank you. Just give me 1 second. Sorry.
It's okay.
Sorry.
Oops. Sorry. So I'll talk. But you really honestly wonder what really did happen. I mean, they have been friends for a number of years. They're business partners. We're together a lot. It's sad to see the end of that friendship. And, what happened to the extent where she would take Kelly's side versus her friend of 25 years.
And that's the saddest part to me.
It is.
But you get on TV, and now you're on the biggest TV show, right, on Sunday nights, and it carries a lot of weight, although you're not getting paid anything. Cynthia was getting paid a lot more from her business with Molly than she ever made from being Molly's sidekick on the show and then pillow talk.
I mean, their virtual fittings aren't that expensive for a custom, bra. It's only, I think it was like $100, but that also goes towards the purchase price of what they make for you.
Yeah. And like, you know, um, yeah, it's hard for me to speak on this because you know they're gonna say, "Oh, John, you're biased. You like Molly. You like Angela. You like all the worst people." And you like you're friends with Paul. You like Larissa. But like for me, like I feel like I've always needed to like defend the people who are hated because I know what it's like to be hated and
Yeah.
I always pull for the underdog. And, Molly wasn't an underdog nor hated up until this happened. Like Molly was one of the most loved cast members of all.
Yeah.
Like up until this happened, you know, 9 months ago, like no one ever said a bad thing about Molly.
Yeah. No. Or even Cynthia.
And
But
it just sickens me like that, like we're here and like, every blogger wanted to jump on Molly's back. And listen, I'm the one. Hi, present. I'm the one. And and just to speak on Molly's character, have you seen Molly say one word about Cynthia?
No. I went to her Instagram page and there's
or Kelly since this has happened?
What's his last
I
name?
haven't.
What's his last name?
Brown, Kelly Brown. So then, Cynthia is on the show, just like JoJo Disney. And this is why this is such a great analogy, like, Angela and JoJo Disney and Cynthia and Molly, because now, Cynthia is a sidekick on the show and she gets, and then she buys a $1.2 million house that she is now selling.
Cynthia's?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Shut the
Cynthia
fuck up.
has all these, she was selling her boots, like, that Molly actually bought her as gifts. Like, oh, here are my boots. I wore them once. Um, you know,
And she's selling it because
posting her custom made house, or $1.2 million custom made house, because I guess she figured she was going to be around for a long time. And, she bit off more than she can chew. But nobody says anything about that.
Yeah, but I mean, she essentially has to rebuild her business. And there was another show on TLC that I watch, 1,000-Pound Best Friends, and there's one girl I just adore. Her name is Vanessa, and she finally, she went to Molly fit her and all that good stuff. But people were talking to Cynthia, and she was like, "Oh, I was hoping you would respond." And it's like, and it went something like, and I just said, Cynthia did not fit her. Molly did. She and Cynthia had a falling out professionally and personally. So it's like,
but then Cynthia, like, went on and like, let me say something about this comment from Beverly Steer right here. Cynthia's boyfriend, I believe, Cynthia's married right now. Cynthia is married to her ex's younger brother, who is 17 years younger. Not there's anything wrong with that.
Vanessa's my girl.
But, Cynthia is giving off an image that's really not all that concrete. And I'm going to say something else about Cynthia. And again, oh God.
I mean, I would just, if I were her and she's wanting to rebuild her business, why is she posting passive?
I've been holding back on this. I've known this information for a while, and I just can't see the constant onslaught on Molly. And like I've been saying, like, I have been holding my breath for a long time.
Good.
I don't want to say things that'll piss people off. And
You do that already. Just do it.
but at the end of the day, no matter what I say, I'm gonna piss somebody off. So I'm just gonna say it. And you know, Cynthia is married to her ex-boyfriend's brother, who is 17 years younger. 17 years, which, good for her, I guess.
John's
17
in a
years.
lot of pain, which is why he keeps
I am.
turning.
I'm in like a considerable amount of pain at the moment. I'm sorry.
So we hopefully will get through this.
But 17 years younger, and good for her. But and there's something else that you need to know about Cynthia, that she talks about her son that passed.
Yes.
Never her son.
It what? Wasn't her son? Who is it?
A boy that she took in for a year.
Okay, so like
Who was having a
a
rough time.
okay.
She took him in for a year. And but that was never her son. And that should show you,
Not biologically.
not biologically, and she only took him in for a year. And God, like I didn't want to go here. I didn't, but like I have to say something about it. She's using that to seek sympathy. But her saying that her son passed, not her son. It was a boy that she took in for a year. And she's using that to play sympathy with everybody else, to add to the list, like, feel bad for me. And I hate to be the person to say this, but this is all part of Cynthia's actions right now.
Clean up.
Because, after the whole thing with after Cynthia got booted from Pillow Talk, she couldn't stand Kelly. She was mad that, like, now she was off the show. So now I guess, she had to go back to her 6-figure income working at Livy Ray, right? I mean, like, she was making way more money as being a business partner at Livy Ray, making 6 figures, which I'm so sorry that you had to go back to your 6-figure job that you co-own. And then, once the stuff with Olivia started happening and blah, 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 then all of a sudden, Cynthia and Kelly are hanging out Super Bowl Sunday, taking pictures together. Nobody found that as odd. Like, and oh Lord.
I mean, and I won't say that clearly she feels like this kid was her son, biologically or otherwise.
I don't.
But if she's only doing it just to get the whole sympathy, then that sucks.
I would say, from what I know, I would say, I don't know, saying that it's your son when it's not. I don't know. I mean, all I know is that she took him in for a year. Like, I don't know. He was down on his luck, but saying that that's your son while in the midst of trying to ruin Molly and say whatever else is, like, not super cool. When you're, Oh, oh my God, I lost my partnership. Oh my God, look what she's done to me. And then she's like, she's blame placing like Molly for all her issues. Like, why is this all coming out now?
Right.
It's just really kind of crappy. And again, like, Cynthia could have, she could have certainly considered him a son. I've had people online that consider me their son. And there's nothing wrong with that. But, when people hear her say that her son passed, you should really make it seem, you shouldn't add like it. I just lost somebody in my life that I consider a second mother to me. And we know who I'm talking about. And that same person considered me their son. So I wouldn't want to like, hoodwink people. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
say like, say like he was like a son to me, or he was my adopted son, or my son's. But like, I don't know. It's just gray area. I don't know, and I'm trying to be as like I'm trying to be as delicate as possible with this, but it's just to me like it's a she put that on the list of a long list of things, um, to say. Like, why would Cynthia build $1 million mansion in the worst economy with like 7.5% interest rates? Why?
Well, I mean, she could have refinanced her house when interest rates.
But how
Interest
was it
rate.
Molly's fault? Like, but how is it Molly?
I mean, if she's
How is
making
it
as much
Molly's
money
fault
as you
that she can't
say,
afford her
then
house? But why is it Molly's fault that she can't
it's
afford her
not.
house? Why?
But if you're saying if she makes as much money as she did at Livy Ray, then how did she manage her money?
But we
You
all
know,
know this, and and I could say this on camera. Nobody on 90 Day Fiance is an A-list celebrity. I mean, I think we could all agree on that. Even if I cast in the chat right now, they would agree. No one here is a Meryl Streep, or a Brad Pitt. You're not making that kind of money. But I believe that Cynthia wanted to live that A-list life. And by building a house in a horrible economy, a custom built house, mind you, and we all, you may be like A-list celebrities on reality TV, Sunday nights on cable. I mean, I'll give you that. But like when it comes to it, no one on 90 Day Fiance is. You're not movie stars. You're not TV actors.
well,
You're
I
on a
mean,
reality show that's really saturated, completely saturated. That there's 50 spinoffs. And when I say 50, I'm not even exaggerating. I think there's more than 50 at this point. But like, and people are getting tired of 90 Day Fiance. Lord knows I am. I mean, I've been very vocal about that. Go ahead.
but it just, you know, and it doesn't sound like she has a lot of children. I mean, we really don't know a whole lot about
I know
Cynthia's
she has.
personal life.
All I know is that she has. She has like the one son. He's very good looking. He did like the Spartan, the mud run. I actually did that years ago. I talked to her about that. I don't know what other kids she has other than the one son that she posted. But then I saw like posts about like her son dying. I'm like, wait. I'm like, I thought your son was just doing a mud run, and we were talking about it. And she said, oh no, that's not really my son. And I was like, ew.
But I
You
mean,
know,
how, like, because she's getting to the age now where she should be thinking about downsizing. I mean, why do you need a 1.5 million, monstrosity of a house?
I think Cynthia has 2 kids. Like, I know the son. I don't know if she has another son.
Are they older? Younger?
Like, I
out.
think they're like in their 20s, I want to say. I think she has a son and a daughter. I'm not sure.
All right, we're gonna find out.
It's really like, it's not really that important. The fact is that like, okay, so I think they're 23. I'm trying to look, 23 and 20. So they're like, still young. 23 and 20 is like, being 12 and 13 these days. Like, I see a 20-year-old, like, you're still like, you should still be in high school at that point, right? A son and a daughter.
Okay, so hold on. Says that 3 years ago on June 19th, 2017, she lost her 17-year-old foster son, Mahalan Thornton, due to a tragic accident. And then remember her son, just because in the article it mentions that he was adopted. And then they lost the Chihuahua. It doesn't tell me how many kids she has, though.
No, I think she has just 2. She has a son and a daughter.
She has a son named Chase and a daughter named Rainey.
And they're both beautiful kids. And again, I'm not trying to dog Cynthia in any way. I'm really not, I promise you. I'm just trying to like, because Cynthia has made sure that to make everybody hate Molly. And I'm here to say that Molly is getting the raw and the sick, and like so many, like look what JoJo Disney did to Angela after like, Angela called her out on her BS. And Molly didn't even call Cynthia out. Cynthia was the one who thought she was bigger than life. And how many times have I said this on YouTube? Like there are people who want to ride your coattails. Like look at me on YouTube. Look at my people who rode my coattails on YouTube. And then when it's the perfect example. And when they think that you're equal to them, or then they drop you like a bad habit and move on and disparage your name. I mean, shit. How many people have done that to me on YouTube?
John, I have no
How many
desire
friends
to
have
get
I had on YouTube that have done the same exact thing to me?
I have no desire to have my own YouTube.
Triggering, and it hits close. It hits close home to me because I deal with this all the time.
Yeah. If it makes you feel better, I have no desire to have my own channel. Nope. Seen what the mean streets of YouTube do. Nope. No, he's JoJo Disney is not JoJo Siwa. I'm gonna have to Google this. John, you're making me Google an awful lot
on the
tonight.
show. Like, okay? Like, let's not like make that. If you're a 90 Day fan, you know who JoJo Disney is. It was Angela's blonde friend on the show.
Oh, okay.
Right, like from like 2 seasons back. And Cynthia is kind of like the same exact person. I mean, like, but like the difference is that Cynthia and Molly have been friends for a long time, had a very successful business together. And Cynthia, I feel in my heart, felt like she was bigger than life and she didn't need Molly anymore. Screw the shop, screw everything, screw Molly, screw Olivia, and that's it. And again, you look at the social media, look what Cindy's been posting about Molly. Look, Molly's she's been tight-lipped and kept and she's allowed everybody to just run over her.
Yes. But I mean, even when you look at Molly's home, Molly looks like she lives a very modest lifestyle. I mean, I just don't think that status is important to Molly where it is important to Cynthia.
Well, status is clearly very important to Cynthia because
Right.
she bought this house she could never afford, that which she's selling on Instagram, selling, boots and shoes because oh my god, all of a sudden, like, she's playing the victim better than nobody else can play. Like, I know for a fact that Molly drives a Toyota because she's like, down to earth. Like, listen, I have a Mustang convertible. I'm not gonna say like, but like Molly drives a Toyota and um she's within her means. Cynthia, on top of having this custom built $1.2 million house that she can no longer afford because she bit off more than she could chew, also drives a Jaguar. A Jaguar. A Jaguar.
Yeah.
A Jaguar. And that just shows you how humble Molly is. And Molly could be driving probably like, a Rolls Royce, probably. She's been at this for a while. Rita just says here, Molly bought her house for $250K in 2013. That was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And, good for her for buying that house. And then Cynthia buys a $1.2 million custom home that's built from the ground up and drives a Jaguar. And because, she thought she was bigger than life. And now this person who was slighted, because she got pissed that she got booted off Pillow Talk because that's the only show that she was on anymore. And, then she hooks up with Kelly. And, I have right here, I also have complaints about Kelly from the NYPD. And, these are complaints while Kelly was in the NYPD. So this man who's saying like, I've never done anything to anybody. I mean, like, and these are like, internal records from the NYPD. Look, abuse of authority. Premises entered and or searched and exonerated because you know what? The NYPD is not going to want to open up a can of worms. And, again, not all policemen are good. And do police departments cover up things for people? Absolutely. I'm not saying that, I mean, but there are things here that will show that he's not a good guy. And, but people just want to hate people and whatever. So, congratulations to Molly for buying that house 10 years ago for something that was, like, I guess, well within her means.
Buying a house is buying a house.
But, I've never seen Molly as a showy off type of person.
No.
Ever. And and I've been biting my lip, holding my breath, because I've been, because every time I post about Molly, I get eviscerated. How could you defend this woman? You're no better. You like Angela, you defend her, whatever. Well, like, when people need defending, I'm there for it. And I can't see this good woman. Molly is one of the most down-to-earth people I've ever met. She's a sweetheart. She is one of the most sweetest people on earth. And she's treated me nothing but with kindness. And we've been talking and friends for, oh my God, since her first season. When was her first season? 2017? When she was on there with Luis.
I was gonna say about 5 or 6 years.
And she's a good woman, and she does not deserve this. And like, because a bunch of thirsty bloggers want to like make it seem that she's this horrible person because they just want the views and the clicks and the traffic on their pages. Well, I say F that.
She was married in 2017.
And look what Molly had to go through with Luis, whatever. And then she thought she found love again with Kelly, and it is what it is, But I think I covered everything I need to say about the situation.
I agree.
And I just hope that Molly gets, I hope she gets exonerated, and I hope that everybody backs off her, and for the world to see like that she's not lying. Like, they're saying because she went on this show, the one that we were talking about, this couple show. Oh look, if he really did that to Olivia, she wouldn't be on the show with him. It's not like that.
Well, I'm hoping that when the show airs that
and
we
like
get to
for the
see
people, let me say this.
her side.
This was going on, but like, also let's not forget like that they all sign contracts, and like I could tell you this. TLC gets you with the contracts because it says in perpetuity, which means
Forever.
So if they call you, and I've seen it, I'm not gonna show you. Well, I've seen it on a few different. I've got a lot of cast members show me their contracts, and I can't show them because then they will get in trouble. But I've seen it's in perpetuity. That means forever.
That's crazy.
Forever. Like you are literally signing your soul over to the devil when you sign that contract.
Oh, sorry, Beverly.
So, if they call on you to do that, you have to, because then you're going to have to like, deal with like their attorneys. And it's, not great. Molly is not a perfect person. Like, none of us are. But like, according to me rating Molly with other 90 Day Fiancé cast members, she'd be really up here with like when the rest of them, like especially the new ones now.
Yeah.
Like Debbie, Shama. Like you think Debbie, Shama, like this is really gonna happen. Like, do you see like the BS that we have to watch now with these new cast members? Like why I don't care? Because I don't see anyone as authentic anymore.
Very true. Because these are very manufactured.
But that them lighting the torches, the mob, going after Molly because, oh my God, look, Cynthia had to sell her house because no, Cynthia, you didn't. You had to sell your house because you bought a house that you couldn't fucking afford. It's the first time I cursed. Oh my God. See, I was trying to be really PG about this. But you bought a house you couldn't afford. You couldn't afford it. You're driving a Jaguar that you also can't afford. You're living this like A-list Kim Kardashian, Meryl Streep life when you're on 90 Day Fiancé pillow talk here and there. That's on you, girl. That's not Molly's fault. Don't blame this on Molly because you stepped well without your means. Like, this is on you. Don't blame this on Molly. You're the one who wanted to pull away from Molly a business when you're making good money. Why do this? Because you're bitter. Because you are bitter that you got bumped for Kelly. And then guess what? You were so bitter about it, but now you and him are like this because you both want to get Molly now because she's the devil. I'm sorry.
Okay. So are we done with Molly and...
I think so.
Okay. Who are we talking about next?
I don't know. That took a lot out of me. Give me 1 second. Sorry.
And I didn't mean to be chewing in your all's ears.
Just we can take it for like a minute or so, okay?
Okay. I can try to entertain. Happy Friday. Any fun weekend plans? I get to clean the house. I know you guys are jealous and wish it could be me. Then I get to do laundry. And don't know if I have to go grocery shopping. I might. Oh, I do have to go to the pharmacy though. The fun. So, salmon burgers. Is that like a salmon patty? Like my grandmother legit, I don't like salmon patties, but my cousin got the recipe, and my grandmother's secret ingredient, instead of using crackers because those dry the salmon out, she used instant mashed potatoes. And they're soft and yummy. But yeah, no, not a fan of salmon patties. I got to take my dog to get her face trimmed and her feet and her butt. So she doesn't look like a homeless orphan. She almost fell off. Oh, God darn. So yeah, run errands. I'm going to have to buy a new chair because I don't have one.
Okay, you're boring me with your chair story. Okay, so I'm going to hop back on. Sorry.
What? I wasn't expecting this.
Don't make me laugh. Every time I laugh, I feel like I'm getting stabbed on the spine. I had to stop
and this
you.
is why I'll never have my own YouTube channel.
I had to. Al, don't make me laugh. Stop.
Because I'll have like one pity viewer.
But so with the rest of the cast, like, okay, so it's Michael and Angela. Okay. I know everybody keeps asking me, are they still together? That's not for me to say. You're gonna have to watch the show. I would never ever, speak on that. So, and then I know a lot of people are surprised that Jovi and Yara are on it, but they are. So, but also they offered it to Pow and Russ. I guess they offered it to Colt and Vanessa. Colt and Vanessa were filming for it, and then Colt broke his leg, and that ended that. I know Vanessa just posted something in our story today about it.
Don't forget Big Ed.
Kalani Esquelu, I witnessed that. We shared a room with them in Vegas almost a year and a half ago. I could have told you back then that they were done, but I wasn't there in Vegas to report on cast. I was there to have a good time, and I wanted the cast to feel like they didn't have to worry about me posting everything on Instagram every 3 seconds. So, but we've known that Kalani and Spilo have been on the outs for years. So this show is just kind of really BSy to me, to be honest with you.
It seems like Asuelu would be very though temper tantrums. He seems like he would be very can't think of the word I'm looking for.
If anybody needed it, probably Kalani and Asuelo would have, but it was so far past the point of like,
immaturity. He seems like he's very immature.
They would be a good couple for it, honestly, but it was already so done with. Um, you know, so whatever. I don't have any. I know that Jovi and Yara are gonna make it. You know, I know that Angela and Michael, obviously they have had their issues in the past. So yeah, they would be good for, they'd be a good fit for the show. But again, this was filmed 9 months ago. And now we're seeing it now. Like production couldn't have like done a better job of like, getting this out sooner. Because when we watch this as a public, we're like we already know, like people who watch this show on TV, right, like who aren't on social media, who aren't following bloggers, will see this. I'm like, oh look, this is great TV, but we all know better, don't we? Right?
True.
So I guess they're catering more to the people who aren't on social media. All four of them. I don't know. For me, like I have 80-year-olds who are following me, like who were born like when Wilson was in office. I don't know. So for me, it's like, yeah, okay. Like the concept, it's like marriage boot camp, really. It's marriage boot camp, 90 Day Fiance style, is what this show really is. So thank you.
I sent John a Venmo.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And I don't know why it was the 8 cents, I guess.
Yeah, it was the 8 cents that got it for me. I'm like, oh, look, 8 cents.
Well, so in lieu of memberships, I just sent the money directly to him. Then that way he doesn't have to get 70% of it. He gets 100% of it.
But I'm gonna watch a show and we're gonna go live about it every week and talk about it, obviously, because I would rather talk about these people than Debbie and Oshama and whatever Jasmine and Gino. Like, God.
Okay, let's just say for hoots and giggles that Michael and Angela are still together. Like, is he ever going to make it into the country? And why isn't he over here already?
And I can't answer that at all. Okay. So there you go. So I don't know what this. I can't. Watch the show. I can't speak on anything. I don't want a beat down from Angela. So
yeah, she would terrify me.
And like we no, nope, not gonna get me on that one. And like for me as a blogger, there have been so many instances where I could have made thousands and thousands of dollars off stuff I got. Like, we saw Unhappily, Angela said, like, a friend sent me texts about Michael. I was the friend, and I had those texts, and I could have posted them all and made a killing on them. But I love Angela, and she's my family, and I would never do that to her. And we were like, even like we were kind of like fighting at the time. But like I still can't do that. Just like when we were in Vegas, there were a bunch of times when I could have been like, I could have put my phone to the wall and you could have heard Kalani and Asuelo fighting. Would have made me thousands and thousands of dollars. Breaking news, and they put my phone to the wall and hear, because they were screaming at each other. You can see Asuelo storming off. But it's really not all about the money with me, and I just try to be a good person.
You are loyal almost to a fault.
I know, really to a fault, because any other blogger would have ran with that. And I might be living in like the $1.2 million house that Cynthia bought with all this stuff that I could have posted. But, for me, it's, I would rather somebody trust me and and they trust me back, and then sell them out for some silver
I
coins.
mean, you don't want them to think.
I don't want to be Judas. I don't want to sell them out for like some silver coins like Judas. I like, that's not me.
Well, I mean, in the same
I
fact,
can tell you right now, you don't think I know everything about everything? Like, I can tell you all about right now. I could go live and boom, 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 tell you everything that's going on about everybody. But what's that going to get me? I mean, it'll get me some money, but
true.
I don't want. I want to be able to sleep at night, and people have trusted me, and cast members have trusted me, and that's why I'm still blogging about the show 10 years later, because people know I can hold a secret, and
when you are around these people, they don't, you don't want them to go, okay, is this John my friend or John the blogger? So if you're around them, they know, okay, I'm always around John my friend, and I don't have to worry about this hitting the airwaves.
Even like with the Sinjin interview recently, right? Like, Sinjin, I just had him on last week, and I know Tiffany had talked to Tanya, and Tiffany, and I love Tiffany. I spent a lot of time with Tiffany. I love that girl. She's like my sister. She had told Tanya, which you all know I hate more than life itself. Listen, John's not a bad guy. If you just try, if you wanted to speak on his channel, he would let you. And I'm like, yes, I would. And I would be respectful, even though, how I feel about Tanya. But I've done that before. I've had Karini up talking about Paul when I favor Paul to Karini. I've had Colt up talking about Larissa when I favor Larissa to, I would always give that other person the benefit of the doubt if they want, and I would be respectful, and I've done that. But I do, I am biased. I do have my favorites, but that doesn't mean if you wanted to come up and share your side of the story, I would allow it.
But I don't think that's showing favoritism. I mean, that's just.
Well, we all know I have my favorites. I'm not going to lie.
But it's also you standing behind your friend. You've said it. You are Angela's friend. You're not Jen, although Jen reached out to you.
Which Jen?
Jen Rishi. I can't do it like you.
I know. I like Jen, and I have.
I do, but
yeah, I like, and I love doing her voice because she sounds like this, and I love talking to you like Jen Rishi. And if I was on Jen's side, honestly, with the whole Rishi thing, and I would love to have Jen up, and I was on Chris and Jamie. I talked to Jamie. And I think Chris is horrible. And but then a lot of stuff happened, and I stopped in my personal life with all this craziness, and I really stopped blogging and getting the tea like I used to, because there was too much being thrown at me, which that's why we were late tonight, because a whole bunch of stuff was thrown at me right before this live started, and I'm like, oh my God, it's never gonna end. But I'm trying to get back to the point where I'm the 90-day blogger, and the housewife blogger, and
we just gotta stay the course. It'll get there.
I had to talk about my attempt that happened 15 months ago, and people are still to this very minute, trying to discredit me. This is the driving force. I don't know how these morbid people are alive. Was so morbid that they can. It's just.
My question is, why do they care? But anyway, we're going to talk about why is Liz and Ed on the. Ed is like a couple.
Well, if anybody needed couples therapy, it would be Ed and Liz. Those true, that was the one couple that should be on the show, honestly.
But Ed's like a cockroach. He never dies. He just keeps coming back.
And then let's not forget that I interviewed Liz, it's on my channel. And, she said nothing but the worst things about him. So I don't, and for me at this point, it's like, oh, they just want to be on TV. Like Cynthia, honestly.
Yeah.
It's like Cynthia. Like, they just want to keep the TV thing going. And if TLC calls with, like, whatever spin-off or series they want to do, then they'll do it. And, like, so this couples therapy thing will be like a couples therapy show. And then they'll have pillow talk couples therapy. And, like, see, like, every time you make a new spinoff, 3 more spinoffs pop up in its place. That's why I said when there's 50 spinoffs, I think there's even more.
Yeah. I'm glad they quit doing the commentating of the
fans react to the pillow talk reaction of the show's reaction. That one?
Yeah, that one. The strikes back.
It's so insane. And now, like, the other way is starting. I'm like, oh my God, do I have to watch that horrible show? Like,
they did.
I will watch before, because we're watching it. We're talking about it every week, which is like, and like,
Are we going to do the other way?
Yeah.
Susie was asking. So was Addie.
Probably. But, like, and I can't stand Kenny and Armando. So, me and Kenny have fought tooth and nail over the course of his 3 years on the show. I really just don't like them.
Yeah, I didn't even know. Like, I read who the couples were, and I didn't know any of them except Kenny and Armando.
Don't like them at all. Like, but I'm happy, like, that people saw the cracks, that Kenny was over demanding bully. An old queen, that I call him, that just wants his way, but whatever. I just don't like, just don't like them. I don't. And they were like the first gay couple, but, like, the cracks started showing in their relationship. And, the first season they were on, people all loved them. But, like, the second season, like, people were like, wow, Kenny is just not a good guy.
Right.
But whatever. And I will cover it, and I will continually say how
you can do it under protest. You're very funny under protest.
Every live I do is under protest with 90 Day Fiance at this point. So I don't know. But the show, I will. Sorry. I'm in, like, a world's amount of pain right now. But yeah.
Are you taking, like, what type of pain is it? Is it
I don't want to talk about it.
Okay.
I just want to, listen. When I first started doing this stuff, like, 10 years ago on Twitter and whatever, I would tweet things that were, like, on my mind, because I've never had a filter my whole entire life. I just say what comes out of my mouth, like, like word vomit. Like, I just don't sugarcoat things. And I would tweet things about TV shows, and people were like, whoa, did you just say that? I'm like, yeah, who cares? It's Twitter. Like, like, it doesn't matter. And then, like, I would get, like, I built my following off that. And, like, even Angela, when I first talked to her for the first time, and I was hard on Angela. She was on Maury. I mean, like, there was a lot of things to talk about Angela. And, like, she DM'd me. She wanted my phone number. I go, oh my God, this woman is going to kill me. I've been really mean to her. And now it's like, it's time for my comeuppance. Like, I reap what I sow. And she called me, and she was like, Johnny, she's like, I love you. And she goes, like, you just say it like it is. And, like, no, like, not like nobody talks about, like, what they're really thinking like you do. And I'm like, so you're okay, like, with the things I said about you? And she's like, hell yeah. And then as I grew bigger and got more followers, and, I had to kind of, like, stop being, like, what I wanted to be, because, then I'm afraid to piss this person off and not say this about this person. And I kind of halted myself on that. And now I'm at the point where I'm just going back to just me being me. Like, you know, the Sex and the City post I posted on Instagram today. um, the end, you know, and not just me. Like, you know, I'm not going to just. I'm going to say what I'm going to say because you know you can't post things anymore without pissing people off, no matter what you say. So
It's kind of sad that we've become
yeah,
that society.
and
I mean, God forbid
I'm
you
just gonna
use.
say what I want to say, and that's what got me here. Not that here's a great place, because honestly, like you know, look what my life has been these like, this last like you know, few months, few years, few decades. I don't know, but I'm just gonna be me again. And if I piss people off, well, too bad because I was pissing people off 10 years ago on Twitter, but that's how I grew, and that's how I'm going to keep going, moving forward. Like, you know, what I did, you know, me tonight talking about Cynthia, you know, I've been biting my tongue like hard because I knew a lot of things that were going on. But like, you know, Cynthia had every blogger convinced that Molly was a horrible person. And I was like, well, I don't want them all turning on me. I don't want, you know, and then you kind of lose your own credibility on that. You know, when you keep quiet and you're afraid to talk, um, you lose something there. And you know, I mean, and I started talking about political things again, whatever, and like how I feel about pride, but that these are things that need to be addressed. But I was afraid to say certain things because I'll lose like you know 1,000 followers if I say this, or I'll lose like 10,000 followers. I'll lose 10,000 followers if I say that, and then like where am I going to be? But you know what? Screw it. At this point,
You
I'm
also
just
might pick up
fine.
500 or 1,000.
I'm just gonna say what's on my mind, and that's it. So, I think I might want to do an after show, believe it or not, because there's something else I want to say, but I'm not gonna do it on this live because it's about the show. But there's something else I want to address that I'm not gonna muddy up because this was a great content live, and I'm gonna do better and um, sorry, I'm gonna get back to where I was with the blogging and doing the stories because I've not been the best blogger, and so whatever. But I'm gonna do a quick after show, and I will do an all members after show for this. No, wait, no. Middle tier, right? 90 Day Fiance higher.
Yeah, because it's Sister Wives.
No, you know what? I'll do an all members after show. Because
Okay.
there's something I want to say. I was going to do it on a live right after this one, but it's not worth it. Let's do it for members, and that's it. So, is there anything else that we need to say about this on this live?
I don't think so.
Okay, so
When is our next live, and what's it going to be about?
well, tonight is Friday, so I may or may not be going to the hospital in a hot minute. So it's going to be hard to gauge. I'm just having an extreme amount of pain on my side. I'm just was hoping that I would feel better, and it just keeps getting like not better. But I just don't want to.
Less tolerable.
So it's scheduled. Monday night will be 90 Day, and I know that we haven't covered OC in a bit. So if I'm here at my house, I know
I think we're only like 2 episodes behind on OC.
So I know MTT, she had like, she was also under doctor's care. I know, and Brooklyn's also in Vegas right now. So
we wish her,
and I don't want to bother her. I know people are
hot
saying
slots. We want her to have hot slots.
I hope she's with her
big jackpots, and lots of memories.
yeah, maybe if MCT's feeling better and like I'm feeling better, we could do like OC at some point this weekend.
Okay.
And you know, I don't know if we're ever gonna do Atlanta. I think that ship has sailed. To be honest with you, I really do. You know, we're so deep into the season. Trying to cover Atlanta would be like, you know, whatever. But I know Beverly Hills is starting soon, and also Jersey. So they just started filming Jersey. Well,
And
they're
didn't
gonna
I
they're
read
gonna
somewhere where everyone was coming back, and although Fessler didn't get a contract, she's still going to be a
they're
friend
all
of.
gonna be back. They're all, you know, the whole cast is coming
I
back.
wish they'd
They're gonna
make.
start filming in August.
I wish they'd make Fessler full time. I mean, she deserves it.
Yeah, that would
Look
be
at
good.
him.
Mm. So, you know, and I can't wait. Doing our Jersey lives, I had so much fun. Like our Jersey recaps, like was like I look forward to every week.
Yeah,
And you know, OC has started off really slow, and like
Atlanta's not been like
none of them are like, you know,
it's a true disappointment. You know,
Jersey
'cause
brought the heat,
they
man.
did, and I'm now like, okay, these shows have to be as good as Jersey, and they're not, and I'm just
They're
so
not. Jersey was
disappointed.
like the best, man. It was like probably the best season of Housewives that were ever aired. Like that season of Jersey. So that's probably why they brought everybody back because they wanted more. So but Beverly Hills is going to be starting soon. So that should be interesting with Kyle and Mauricio. I don't believe a thing that I believe that they really are broken up. You know, Kyle's excuse on her statement was like so BSy. I'm like, really, Kyle? Like you would have went live and said next to your husband and said, "Oh my God, these from." But people, you know, when People Magazine writes that you're broken up, like I believe it. You know,
Yeah,
it's not In Touch or The Sun or whatever other publication or periodical. You know, people, you know, they usually don't miss the boat. So it is what it is. Um, so I'm gonna end this. Give me like 10 minutes. I'm gonna start the all members live. Thank you guys so much
see
for
you.
being
See you
here.
2 and 2.
2 and 2. Chuck
Remember
Woolery,
that?
love connection. Of course I do. Come on. Who do you think you're talking to?
Well, you
Um,
know.
Thank you guys. I will see you in a few minutes on the members live. Bye.
Okay. Bye.